Howdy, howdy. Welcome to Mo's World Podcast. Yep, another baseball podcast. Here we talk about baseball like a few friends sitting around at the bar. We welcome your input to help improve us and make us grow.
Awesome!
Today's third episode will dive into the stat and art of catcher framing. We'll also jump on the aspect of expansion. The suggestion of expansion was brought to my attention from a new listener in Levittown, Pennsylvania, at Old Time Guy. Thanks for the suggestion, Old Time Guy. And everyone, bear with me as we eventually will be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Buzzsprout for easy downloads and transcripts. If you are downloading the podcast from our Buzzsprout website, please send us a text message of what you thought of the episode. We look forward to hearing from you, especially on any baseball topic. We are definitely a work in progress, so please have some patience in our infancy. As always, not a sponsor, but visit my favorite baseball site, baseballreference.com, for stats and info. Okay, let's get into it. Definition: catcher's framing is the art of a catcher receiving a pitch in a way that makes it more likely for an umpire to call it a strike, whether that's turning a borderline call into a strike or not losing a strike due to poor framing. Okay. Since good umpires call balls and strikes based upon where they see the ball cross the plate, not where the catcher catches it, framing is a complete waste of time. Even the best framers rarely get away with it, and the bad framers just look ridiculous. So does framing really work? In recent years, framing has often been evaluated as the most valuable element of catching defense. Oh, he's a great framer. Come on. Many umpires have a hard enough time calling balls and strikes accurately. Is it just me, or is the tactic of catches framing pitches gotten way out of control? They even seem to frame pitches that were already perfect strikes. It's so blatant and obvious attempt to deceive the umpires. The umpires have got to know what is happening, and maybe it's even counterproductive. I'm not sure why it annoys me to the degree that it does. Anyone else think that it's a stupid practice? Look, I don't blame the catchers. They are just doing what is now being promoted from the analytical department. Once an accurate electronic strike zone is implemented, this all won't matter anyway. With an electronic zone, that category would immediately disappear as there is no one to trick. Also, it's probably going to speed up the game even more. Thinking of pitchers in the recent past, such as Greg Maddux, he would hate this non-expanding east-west strike zone for sure. Now, I'm not really a fan of this expanding technique to frame pitches, especially on one knee. I was watching a recent game on ESPN and heard A-Rod talking about this during the game. Travis Darnold had set up on a one-knee stance with runners on first and third, and A-Rod noted that he was worried that such a stance would leave the Braves catcher vulnerable to a ball getting away. I gotta say, I totally agree. As he said, you see him on his knee on the ground. I don't like this. Will Smith's slider has been his problem. Any ball in the dirt could cost you a run. With one knee on the ground, you limit your movement and your range of motion. A-Rod's right on with that. On cue, Will Smith's slider bounced in the dirt, but Donald is pretty agile. He's pretty good. He may be on his one knee, but he's one of the better catchers as far as blocking, and he blocked it well. The one knee catcher is used to rest his body while assisting in framing, of course, and their comfort in the position. You always see them adjusting the glove and blocking, which comes easier when on one knee. So it's obvious who does a good job with that, right? But I'm watching a game like the Royals, and I'm watching rookie MJ Melendez, and you could tell that this is all he knows. Be on one knee because that's the way you have to catch now. He's terrible at blocking balls in the dirt. I mean, pitiful. If I'm pitching to him, I don't want him as my catcher. He is the new age disaster of a catcher. You know, it's the Gary Sanchez disease. The umpire's perspective, moving the ball is not framing. Framing is the catcher's setup that allows the umpire to see the pitch. Moving the ball is just selling it. And no, they don't buy into it, and neither do I. Now, to continue on blocking from a one knee stance, weaker blocking seems to be the main argument. It's my argument, right? I hear against staying on one knee with runners on base. And it's certainly true that lateral range is limited while in a one knee stance. Yet everyone insists that this stance is not bad, it's better. Yeah, right. I'll agree with that scenario. The same as how bunting is taught now. It's been decades since bunting was taught on all levels that you do not square around at the plate. It's now a common practice to teach at Little League level, high school, college, minor, and Major League Ball that you rotate your hips and do not commit to facing the pitcher. Because you may get hit. Oh, God, we don't want anybody to get hit by a pitch. You're turning the sport into a pussy sport. That works. That's a joke. This is just another phase of turning the game soft. What was wrong with squaring up your body and using your bat as a level to move it up, down, left, right? Nothing. It worked. Oh, wait, you might get hit. Shit. Don't get me started with that. Turn and bunt, period. Turning your upper body and not committing to the bunt is why bunting is total crapshoot now. All right, sorry, I went off on a tangent. We were talking about kneeling. The right knee down stance restricts lateral mobility of the catcher. That is definitely agreed upon from the one knee stance procedure advocates. That is when you see the catcher doing the ole stab at wild pitches because he has to stab at it instead of blocking. This is part of the one knee system that makes most coaches cringe or call the stance lazy. Something in us wants to believe that a high effort movement like lateral blocks from a traditional stance is more effective than a low effort movement like a pick or a stab. And once again, I say yes, it is. What do you think? Text me a message on Buzzsprouts in the fan mail section. Let me know what you think about the one knee stance now being a proponent in all of baseball. Alrighty, what's our next topic? Expansion possibility. Now, this is where we get interesting, right? Okay, Major League Baseball expansion. Seems the commissioner has targeted expansion before he leaves office in 2029. There are 30 teams now, and I like the balanced schedule much more than playing your division 3,000 games a season. Go ask the Baltimore Orioles how they like the schedule. It may be the single reason outside of obvious awesome roster that they can reduce games played in their division. Orioles have taken advantage of this and run with it. And good for them. Expansion? Major League Baseball started with 16 teams in 1901 and did not expand again until 1961. 60 years. Wow. That fact alone is wild for today. Then we added the Colorado Rockies and the Florida Marlins in 1993. I bet Major League Baseball wants to rethink that Miami expansion. Poor choice. In 1998, Major League Baseball added the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Once again, Major League Baseball should take back the Florida expansion. The Rays. What the hell is wrong with their attendance? Or lack of attendance, I should say. The Rays are averaging 16,146 per game this year. This year's team, it's not the best of recent years, but seriously? The Rays have been trying to get a new stadium for years. And now that that area has committed to a new stadium, it's practically in the same location. It makes you want to scream, "Wake up! The location sucks!" St. Petersburg area is a lousy location. Put the stadium in the Harbor District of Tampa, expanding the amount of people that can get to a stadium in that location. Hello, McFly, are you in there? Jeez. Okay, so who gets a new franchise? I think it's crazy to talk expansion before settling the Oakland A's, Miami Marlins, Chicago White Sox, and Tampa Bay Rays. Absolutely shit attendance. Yep, those are the 5 bottom dwellers in Major League Baseball attendance. I guess we have 5 years to do something with them if expansion is slated for 2030 seasons. If you are looking to acquire one of those expansion teams, I hope you are saving your money. Franchise fees will probably start at $1 billion. $1 billion. And I am sad to say that baseball is losing fans of recent. Surveys and polls seem to show baseball at around 10 to 12% as the favorite sport. Any guesses on who's getting a team? If you are a baseball fan, you know the answer. We all do. But what we think is going to happen sometimes doesn't. Donald Trump told me that. Nashville and Utah are the obvious choices. No brainers. Nashville's Stars go to the National League East to form a rivalry with the Atlanta Braves. Utah gets a team that goes into the American League West. Or maybe not. Perhaps it is time to modify the 3 divisions in each league. How long has it been that every team from the Central doesn't suck? Well, I propose a bit of a change. Almost going back to the 1969 divisional game. I have the Eastern Division consisting of the Baltimore Orioles, the Boston Red Sox, Chicago White Sox, Cleveland Guardians, the Detroit Tigers, the New York Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays. The Western Division of the American League would consist of Houston Astros, Los Angeles Angels, Minnesota Twins, Kansas City Royals, the Utah expansion team, Oakland Athletics, or wherever the hell they end up, Seattle Mariners, and the Texas Rangers. So, we've got 8 teams in each division, the East and the West. Now, moving on to the National League, the Eastern Division would have the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins, the Milwaukee Brewers, the New York Mets, the Nashville Stars expansion team, the Philadelphia Phillies, Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Washington Nationals. The Western Division would have the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Chicago Cubs, the Cincinnati Reds, the Colorado Rockies, Los Angeles Dodgers, San Diego Padres, San Francisco Giants, and the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, modifying the divisions, East, West, realign, it's a crapshoot because you want to keep some things the same. I wanted to keep the Cubs and Cardinals in the same division because of their longtime rivalry. So I moved them both. So you can make arguments on why do I have the Milwaukee Brewers in the Eastern Division? It's not a perfect science, So let me know what you think. This is my, alignment there. But now we're moving on to the season. And what are we doing with that? Because I'm getting a little creative here. So I'm basing this on a reduced schedule of a 154-game season, running March 28th to September 22nd. This may be difficult to get my point across on what I'm thinking with realigning the divisions and altering the schedule and playoffs. I was trying to think of a way to convey this and thought about transcripts here that are provided with the podcast. The only problem is the format of transcripts is for text only and not graphics. So bear with me here. How about if I created a video movie of my transcripts? I tried this idea on my YouTube channel, and YouTube has the only format where I can download video and audio options, I think. If there's anything else, let me know. If you follow the link to my YouTube channel, you will find a video, nothing fancy, of graphics and more details than I can explain here. Let me know what you think, or if there's any other options I should try. As I have said, the podcast is an ongoing work in progress, and I appreciate your understanding. I've suggested a 154 game schedule that would conclude with the regular season on September 22nd, with one day off, and we immediately move into round one of the wild card playoffs. I know, back to a one game elimination round. I chose this just for the length of the series and thinking about the time off for the bye team. After a one game elimination, we move into round two. The wild card winner of seeds 1 and 4 versus the wild card winner of seeds 2 and 3. Best of 3 games are all played in the wild card with the best regular season record. My idea here is to reward the overall better performing team. The winner moves into the divisional round. The wild card team versus the divisional winner. It's like a tongue-tied thing there. Number 2. So whoever had the second best division record would be a best of 3 game series, no games off, consecutive games played, all played in the divisional winner's home park. The winner will move into the league championship series. The divisional round winner versus the top divisional bye team in a 7 game series, giving the top regular season record advantage in game 7. Series opens 3 games in the top division winner's park, then 1 day off, and 3 games in the divisional round winner's home park. If a game 7 is needed, it's in the bye team's home park. Winner advances to the World Series, which stays as a best of 7 game series, home field to the team with the best regular season record. Hopefully this is played around October 11th to 18, greatly reducing the length of the current playoffs into November. It's a lot to think about, but that's why we're here. I'm really excited about the future of the podcast, and thanks for your ideas and comments. Hopefully each episode will get better and better. We are on multiple platforms now, so I hope you follow us regularly. Episode 4 will be released next Friday as we talk about the 2023 rule changes and how they have impacted baseball so far. Thank you so much for listening to Mo's World, the baseball podcast. Whose world is it? It's Mo's World.